Good morning, everyone. So it's 10 o'clock now, so let's get started. So first of all, thank you for joining this info seminar. Came early in weekend, so I hope some information I introduced in the following slides will help you to understand more about our program. So make sure you are interested in the scheme e-design, BA Ons, and the code. Our application program code is JS3569. So, all right. So this is about the program. All right. So certainly we have a lot more audience here. So I would like to introduce myself once again. So my name's Manto. I'm foundation year leader of Scheme Design. In short, means year one coordinator. So, and the other colleagues here, Kathy, she is responsible for the handling the information regarding the procedures and the timeline. So, if you have questions regarding the schedule, we would have the section talking about more. Okay. So, first of all, are you suitable, or are you the best potential candidate for our program? And I guess there's a lot of parents here. Is the program suitable for your kids? What are we looking for? And I will say this is every potential designer will usually have such traits. So first of all, full of creative ideas. All right, this is a nice term, nice wording. In short, naughty, right? A little bit naughty, out of the box, exploring different approaches. Yes, and usually they not just respond to your answer. Usually they respond to your questions. They would like to know more why you ask such questions. And this is something we always embrace, and every good designer, change maker should have. And happy to solve problems. I know students have a lot of problems, right, in your studies, but some problem, if you enjoy to solve and you know what the problem is not necessarily academic side, probably in the society, everyday life, and you enjoy that kind of process, and that is the good choice. Think critically is that it will need more training, I would say. But critical thinking is something tricky. If you are too critical, actually it's dragging your motivation to be a doer, because you always be blunt, be mean, and then you stop because you expect something really impactful at the end. That's why you hesitate, or you're not willing to start to do it. So this is something you need to balance it well. I'm not saying that critical thinking is the important thing. It's one of the important things, but we here ask the student to handle the problems, the critical thinking, creative thinking in a balanced way. So this is something you need to train. And strong curiosity, you explore everything, you question everything. Not only something you are interested, like the style, K-pop, not only that, manga, the small area. We hope every applicants or the potential students will have strong curiosity, because the more you know, that means you have more chance to come up with some crazy creative idea, because we used to term our design is connecting dots. We connecting dots to solve some problems. So more curiosity actually create more dots in your mind for you to connect. And good visual skills and handcraft. That means you are, and I think this is quite easy to understand, right? If you draw well, if you would like some handicraft stuff, yes, you have a lot of chance. Actually, majority of the time you need to do something, work something out. So if you are doer, you're not keen on just studying in front of the computer. You like to go everywhere, do something, and try something out. I think you will probably enjoy the program. And interested in social issues. Why we emphasize in this? Of course, not only high-sounding, decent terms, because with designer, design thinking actually quite suitable for solve some weird problem, not some obvious science problem. So sometimes it's about culture, economic, psychological, everything connect together. Actually, you create some social phenomenon. And if you are willing or ready to challenge the norm actually is related to our daily life. And no matter that is some political problems or some property problems, actually it's not a single solution can solve that, right? We're looking for a lot of possibility to try. So that's why designer quite suitable or willing to do some trial, because they know there is no perfect answer. Why not do this? Why not do that? So this is something typically suitable to test or look into the social issues. And the last but not least is the set up your own company. Design is something, you may say the setup cost in this profession is not expensive, right? Because the only asset, if you are trained professional, the asset is your brain. For the facility, in short, it's just some kind of computers and some fabrication tools that is not expensive, not a rocket science setup. So everyone, if you are well trained, you have a lot of connection. Actually, set up your company is relatively easier than other domain area. Sorry. All right, here is the reason why PolyU probably the best choice for you guys if you choose design as your study future career path. So first of all, we are ranked 22nd in 2025, but we usually in this 10 years we are floating between 15 to 20. This is the latest ranking. So, but it's top-notch design school in Asia and the #1 in Hong Kong so far. And the program introduction you see in the leaflet actually is talking about the new integrated curriculum we launched in 2022. So just 4 years ago. And we emphasize on the interdisciplinary teamwork because we perceive design is not only craft skills training. The impactful designer nowadays, actually, they are keen on leading some kind of new thought to solve the problem, just like I think some famous startup, not startup anymore, but just like Airbnb, right? The designer have some interesting thought in their mind and then do it right away, connect every possibility to work it out, keep trying. And they don't know what is impossible, because you may say they are stupid, but I would say it is kind of their personality. They're not against fail, so that's why some innovative company, the founder, one of the founder or the sole founder is the designer. And I will introduce some case later. So integrated curriculum in response to the interdisciplinary collaboration with different domains. Design no longer doing our own business. We connect every possibility to solve the problem. And the new curriculum will have 9 specialisms. I will talk about it later. A medium of instruction, English. And since 1964, we are now 61 years old. School of Design 61 years old. Maybe that's the reason why we still so-called the number one in Asia, in Hong Kong. And the faculty ratio of local and international is 4 to 6. It's about our staff, actually, that means our colleagues. So, and not to mention this building. If you're familiar with architecture, probably you will know the famous designer Zaha Hadid, the architecture Zaha Hadid. She died maybe 5-6 years ago. But this is one of her legacy here. So I think it's the interesting shape to all the public. But this is something, we live in, we study, we learn here. And the network. The network collaborators is not only about the university. We have a lot of partner schools in Europe, in UK, in US and Asia, such as UAL, Cologne, Copenhagen, and Korea, just like KAIS, Honig. Actually, you name it, there's a lot. The partner school with PolyU, actually, so we keep the exchange program growth. So the list keep going, and every student here are encouraged to step outside Hong Kong and try to taste a different life in different country. Of course, there's a lot of national brand, corporate, just like NVIDIA, Tencent, and this is something we call the big corporate. They will have the lab collaboration here, not to mention those internship opportunity. And that will help you to expand the network before you step into the real world, real working world. So, and since the new program launch, we emphasize, and whole PolyU, not only School of Design, emphasize on the entrepreneurship knowledge or the entrepreneurial training. So we are not just foster the school to the students being a good professional, and we encourage them to even be bold to set up your own business. Entrepreneur actually is involve a lot of knowledge about the business, marketing, and some production, manufacturing. All this must-know information. We have the course to include to support the students' entrepreneurial dreams. And the last one is the real client and the community. Real client means I think every program, every specialism will have around 10, or I would say almost 10 real client project. Real client project, you may perceive is the class subject coursework exercise, and some of them are real client and get the patent and implemented, and they got some reward and recognition. This is the opportunity to train up the student. Is not only about the homework, not about the academic side. You need to prepare yourself better, work with the real client. They are blunt, they are demanding, they are probably friendly, but probably not, and that you have to face it. That is the reality. And for the community, that is not only for SD, but for whole PolyU. We one of our motto is serve the community. Every university student, after you graduate, you have that kind of mindset. You need to contribute yourself to the society. So this is something we have compulsory called a service learning subject. So every student need to do something for good, at least. All right, so this is the reason why you choose PolyU. And for the learning and teaching activity, so first of all, it's about the teaching environment. That's the indoor. We have the studio. Outside, we have a lot of visit, internship, and study trip, and community engagement activity before you come up with some kind of design solutions. That's quite normal daily life in PolyU. And the good thing is, I would say this is typically, especially for School of Design, and we still have so-called classroom. Every student here will have your own desk, own workstation, right? So sounds attractive, right? Workstation actually is your desk. And this is something quite different from other programs because they are floating basis. Every class consists of more than hundreds, and then after the lecture, just walk out and then find somewhere to do your assignment. But in School of Design, our nature is we need a lot of making. That's why we need some space. So you have the dedicated space once you get in from year 1 to year 4. All right, so this is the facility. So in 5th floor, we have Material Resource Center, all latest new materials you may find there, and then you can also know the background, how to connect, how to order if you want to. And not only our students use it, a lot of professionals outside, they explore some new material here, come back to school and get some new inspiration by the materials. And yeah, this is something I talk about. We call the facility, actually it's a studio. So your workstation, yes, a bit messy, right? But that's not yeah. And fabrication lab, workshop, there's something we call the standard. Student, if happen to have some wild idea you want to actualize, that is your personal interest, okay. If that is under the assignment requirement, you may explore that. So there's always have some new tools for you to try. All right. This is about 9 specialism. This is how we structure. So if you get in year 1, we all sitting in the foundation year. So the foundation year, every student learns something in the world of design that is the basic fundamental things. So no matter you're interested in environment design or surface design, something you need to learn. Like it or not, you need to go for this. And then you promote to year 2 and slightly better, you choose your interest area. But the area we call the cluster area. It's not necessarily just like the product designer. We call it product experience design. So you also, apart from the product design knowledge, industrial design knowledge, you also need to learn some experience, interaction, how the product work and could it expand to something else. And we call it cluster. So advertising, information design, and media design, we group into communication design cluster. Environmental interior design, we group into the environment design. And as I said, PED, product experience design. And service design, social design, we group into service design. So I will explain a little bit more on what is that in the later time. All right, foundation year, this is year 1. Every student needs to go through design basics. Some theoretical things, how to do some, what is the relevant design method for design, and some kind of basic design history, theory, principles, and visualization. That means you need to learn a lot of visual language, drawing, shape, form, color, and design studio. That is the I would say the most important thing. As I said, we learn by doing. So design studio means most of the time you have to involve in the coursework. Since year one, you need to practice that. So the design, we call the studio subject, actually is work on your project. Common basics, yeah, it's the basic skills. The tools, manipulations in traditional way, or some digital fabrication tools, just like the 3D software, Adobe, something like that. And creative thinking. So this is a little bit tricky. Creative thinking, you may term it as a design thinking subject, but it's not only, how to say that? It's not a theory. It's the mindset training. As I mentioned in the first two slides, what is the traits of design student? You need to prepare yourself to embrace the uncertainty. So this is kind of mindset. You need to prepare. So a lot of year one students get stuck here because they are not really comfortable sitting in the uncertain situations. So the students are encouraged to set the project by themselves, so that they are afraid to do that. What would you actually want me to do? They always ask this thing. So this is we call the mindset, creative thinking, and design process. We break down the design process by little stage and introduce to student. So this is the year one structure, and then year two, 4 cluster, as I mentioned. And year two, slightly advanced, more into your domain area. Of course, another studio project subject. And you need to explore more materials, channels in communications, mediums, and learn some research method officially, properly to do some research. And presentation, yes, a lot of good idea actually really relies on the good presentation skills. So students are encouraged to train up their presentation skills, not only the verbal presentation, also about the visual presentations. And we introduced the AI since the new curriculum launched in 2022. So we have the subject called artificial intelligence and data analysis, and that is for whole school, for year two subject. And we start to explore the interdisciplinary collaborations. That means we work with different stream, like within the cluster or outside the cluster. Just like a product, we start to ask the student to think not only about furniture design, what you may think extend the function of this furniture, just like the rice cooker. I always like to set the example. If you are the product designer, you need to come up design the rice cooker, right? Then you can see a lot of shape exploration. But if you think more, it's about more on experience. That means the rice cooker do more? Just like they help you how to cook and give you some recipe, right? This is about the experience, add-on experience, not only rely on the shape itself or the form itself. So we call the product and experience. This is something like that. Even nowadays, so awkward, even the toothbrush, they will connect your toothbrush, and then you connect your Bluetooth apps. Even you brush your teeth, watch the apps, and then you see whether it's fully clean or not. I think that is something like we call the experience. So no longer the product itself. All right, in short, communication cluster including, as I said, media. Media just like animation, live action, video making, film making, storytelling, and motion graphics, content, and some kind of simulation, the 3D rendering or some virtual reality simulation. And about the marketing side in advertising, the consumer analysis, copywriting, digital advertising, social media campaign. And for the communication side, we have a lot of publication, branding, packaging, and typography, wayfinding. So on all the year 2 students, we have chance to in touch with this thing, to get to know more about different type of work, the nature of different thing, and then they have more time to prepare themselves. If I'm keen on doing animation, probably media design is my choice. If I really like to explore the marketing, the business world, and then probably advertising. If something more about the visual communication, publication, probably CD, information design. And this is the environment and interior design. We used to call the E&I, but now called environment design. And yes, I think the name itself is self-explained. Some kind of public space, private space, museology, exhibitions, space and user, and structure, materials. All these contexts you have chance to, it will be introduced in year 2. So in year 3 and year 4, probably you have more, you narrow down your direction to learn more in-depth knowledge to certain area. So it's gradually, bit by bit, to build up your interest or your confidence along the way. And product design, as I said, user experience, circular design system, and prototyping, material, market analysis. We also have some kind of marketing, branding context in IoT, and homeware, furniture, footwear, transportation, you name it. There's something related to tangible stuff, and some kind of user experience thing. That means we call the experience part. That will be PED in year 2. And surface design. Surface design is relatively young term in the world of design, at least in Hong Kong, but it's not new in US or in Europe. And in short, surface design more on serving, if the social design is more on serving the community. So we work with the community to do some co-creation to solve the problems. Just like you want to help the elderly, you need to closely contact and in touch with them and watch their daily habit, and then you find some problem or you identify some opportunity to let them live better. So this is the way work into the community and do more observation and suggestion. It's not emphasized on the visual language thing, but it's more on the planning. It's more on the contextual side of the problem, and then you suggest some, I would say, feasible way with the community. It's not only by the designer itself. That means if you live in the village, you go to the village and then work with the village. It's not something like top-down way to I suggest you to do something like this, that's good for you. It's not that case. So this is about social design. And service design, relatively more on the business side. Say, for example, hospitality in tourism faculty, they suggest the service. Once the tourists land in Hong Kong, they will have the service that, say for example, this is the is the mobile app, and the app let the tourists have more welcoming service provided by the hotel. Say for example, how to get into the hotel, and what is the transportation way to achieve that, and then what is the food you like, and then tailor-made some your personal itinerary for the individual. So that is, we call the service, right? And then in such case, the brand, just like other hotel, get more business chance. That is something for good for them. And of course, the image of the hotel and the branding will bring up or set up by this kind of service. So this is something, the terms related to service design. You see a lot of this little bit research and cultural appreciation thing. All right, so this is the 4 cluster. And then the specialism, advertising, information, media, environment, interior. Okay. This will be in year 3 and year 4. So you have 2 years to do on your specialism. So we still, of course, that's not the 4-year longs like the old days, but we still manage to give the sufficient knowledge to cover your interest specialism. And year 3 and year 4, this is the structure of the curriculum. Professional practice, different area, different profession, they have different practice will be introduced. Service learning, cooperative project. That means we call it work in education. So every year 4 student, we have 8 weeks project time, and the student need to collaborate with different specialism to form a group to work for the real client. Usually there's government department and NGO and some big corporate. They are really interested to collaborate with school of design. So this is one of some interesting content in the year 3 or year 4. And the internship, this is quite, to me, from my personal observation, internship is the most, I would say, turning point. It's not a Charlie Kirk turning point. It's a turning point for all the design students. After finish the internship, actually, they seem to know even more what they want or what they don't want. So, in the actual working environment before graduate, actually we help them a lot. You still have 1 year to prepare better, and then you are not afraid to step into the real world because you have the internship before graduate. And yes, even me, I'm from advertising. Some of our graduate set up their own business right after graduate, and that is quite different from the old times. Other times we looking for some big corporate, right? It's quite traditional, but nowadays it's changed a lot. They have chance more easy or more prepared to set up their own business. And the last one is called integrated capstone. So in the year 1, integrated in the common foundation ground, and the year 4 is your personal choice. If you would like to work your final project with different people, different party, you can have this choice. We call the integrated capstone. We used to have the individual final year project, but yes, I think since 22 we create this kind of new capstone way for students to choice. All right, this is the co-op and the internship, as I mentioned earlier. So this is some example for the integrated capstone. Because it's quite different, that's why I spent extra slide to explain that. A 9 student in a group, and all of the teammates, I would say, the teammates is from different backgrounds, some E&I, product, communication, and media. So they work on certain topics, just like for the SAN students, and create some surface. This is not only the surface design, but if you interested in certain topic or issues, just like the book reading, and this is something you can suggest with your fellow teammate, right? And yeah, this is some example. And every year we have the design annual show usually in June to August. And yeah, we just finished that. And if you are interested, you can take some, maybe spend some time to take a look on the archive. So you may know more about the students' capability and how they can handle their final year project. So this is the 25 annual show ID. All right, so about the client, actually not really important, but I would say there's a lot of high caliber company would like to hire the PolyU design student because probably we have 61 years history. And some notable alumni, just like the famous designer Freeman Lau and Kerry Chow, Vivian Tam, Alice Mack, Anthony Lowe, the car designer, and the film producer, and Warman Hoi, the animator, and used to, I think you probably know that, right? He's the first Hong Konger work in US and in DreamWorks. And by that time, it's not called DreamWorks or Pacific Data Imaging. And yes, that's some kind of example of our alumni. And you may have a little concept about their future career path. Illustrator, designer, and James Orr is from advertising. And I remember he graduated 2009 and set up his the new business called Google Van. By that time is in 2014. Yes, I remember. He come to a school and recruit some student, just fight with him, and then set up. It's a successful case for Hong Kong. All right, so this is about the alumni. 5 more minutes left. So this is something I would say is the procedure, or the tips. It's a quick look on the tips. First of all, how to prepare a portfolio, I guess. And this is something for the student. You do have some works you want to show, but you don't know how to organize it, how to present it. These are some tips. And be structured and be organized and show your competence. Every student have different competence. Some students might good at drawing, and you can include more to show that you are good at drawing. And some students probably they're good at writing. They can write a lot of interesting thoughts, interesting poem, whatever, lyrics, something like that. They can put that inside also. And of course, some 3D making portfolio, handicraft portfolio, we are welcome. I know most of the Jupiter applicant will have the SBA work, school-based assignment. Yes, I think that is some template. Every student will have the similar look and feel. How to package it, or how to additional add something to the portfolio. Probably you can think about what is your competence. If you are good at handicraft and probably 1 or 2 is not related to SBA, you may include that in your portfolio. That make you different from the pool of portfolio, right? And yeah, the descriptions states your works. I'm not too wordy, but I think need to write to the point. And some student directly submit the SBA. I think some of the work, if the SBA submission work looks organized and clean, I think it's okay. But most of the time, the SBA is a little bit rushed. Probably we expect the student to to tidy it up a bit, to trim down a bit, and then find some critical information and make it as your portfolio content. And focus, just like you categorize your work. If 1 or 2 coursework is about your creativity, 1 or 2 is about your research. That means we collect the visual, collect the article, you have some analysis in writing, that is about research. And your creation, you're really good at making, you have a nice looking outcome, that is about making. So you may focus on what is your strength and categorize them, right? Diversify, yeah, I think this is quite easy to understand. Have some drawing, making, IoT, or even drama, video making, vlog, all different thing, interesting thing you put inside is okay. We call that diverse, but be reminded it should be fun, it should be interesting. Don't stuff everything into that small size file. Easy access. If you have video included in the portfolio, be reminded, embed the link or create some QR code. I would say embed the link here is the best way to do that. And this is the most important thing. Visual diary. I guess some of you might know what is that, right? But why it is so important? Because as you may imagine, students are busy. They need to prepare for examination and the SBA. Now you ask even more. But this is something not we are demanding, because I would call that is the evidence. If you are really enthusiastic on certain thing, you will be willing to spend more time compared to others. And the visual diary is not necessarily related to the project. It's everything you find interesting, included. You try experimental thing, you can try it in your visual diary. You don't need to explain what is the visual diary. We will know that. Maybe this is the pattern exploration, maybe just some kind of documentation of your process, whatever. But this is make you different from the other candidate, because not many applicants willing to spend time to do that. So if you prepare something like visual diary, you definitely have advantage on the portfolio sections. All right, so this is some tips, how to prepare a portfolio in a short video format. But I think the video itself is short. The most important thing is you need to really spend some time to prepare that. And there will be an interview. If you are lucky enough, you pass the threshold of the DSE score, and then your portfolio is being screened and finalized. You select to attend the interview. That will be 50 to 20 minutes interview. So we will have more chance to understand the candidate more. In that case, it's not about the competence, because we can roughly know students' competence, and we know their characters. Some kind of your daily life interests, or some ad hoc questions to know. Two things we would like to know in the interview. First of all, is your personality. You cannot cheat. We can read that. As the youngster, not easy to pretend, so we can know your personality. And the second thing is how you passionate on your selected career. Say, for example, design. If you are really interested on movie, so we will ask the question about the movie to see whether it's really your true interest. And there's little knowledge regarding your interests. So this is the timeline. So early October, late September to early December is the application period. So I think I don't need to explain this. And in around mid-June, all applicants need to submit a portfolio. So after your DSE examination, you still have 1 month to prepare that. So make a good use of the time. If you try to approach design and spend a little bit, I would say, give yourself a last push on prepare the portfolio. It still will work for you. And late July will be the interview. Yeah, and right, Kathy, this is the, and usually we show this timeline, this schedule is still valid this year. And early August, we will announce the offer. So this is for local JUPAS. I'm not sure how many non-JUPAS applicants here, but this is the procedure. End of September to early Feb, you can apply for the e-admission, PolyU, and of course not JUPAS, right? In mid-November, or mid to late November, we will have the first one, we call the early one selection. So we check upon here to see any potential candidate. And we can do the first batch interview here. And the second batch will be all the way until March or April. We have another round of, we call that main round interview. And yes, usually early round are less, but if you want to try your luck, you are prepared yourself, you are confident enough, you can try the early round, and then you can secure your offer if you are really good. But if you rather spend more time to prepare that, you can choose the second round. It doesn't matter. So it really depends on your choice. All right, so this is the timeline. Okay. If you are really interested on how to prepare the portfolio or what is our view on screening the portfolio so that you can have more thought how to prepare your portfolio, you may join the section in 2 o'clock. That is the preparation strategy. All right, so this is the last slide. Any question you may get this QR code and get to the official website to see the informations.